Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's session, which will be largely focusing on the JSTOR database. So, my name is Sanda Nyoka, the Principal Librarian for Law, Humanities, as well as Education. And as mentioned, today we're going to be focusing on the JSTOR database. We're going to start off with some PowerPoint slides, and then from the PowerPoint, we're going to go to the actual JSTOR database, wherein we will explore how the database works and how you can go around searching on the actual database. So the JSTOR database can be accessed through the library's website. So your starting point would be the library's website, www.ru.ac.za/library. And on the library's website, there is an entry for databases A to Z. So beneath the search all function, there's an entry for databases A to Z. So that is where you'd click. And from clicking the databases A to Z option, the next screen that you would see is this list of databases that we subscribe to, wherein you'd need to click on the letter J or to use the option at the top here in order to search for that specific database. After having selected the specific database being JSTOR, you would be asked to authenticate. There's two ways or options that you would choose from. You're either a staff member or you are a student. So if, for an example, you select the student option, this is what should appear from your screen. So previously, we used to use a PIN, your surname, as well as a barcode in order to sign in or to access our resources or databases. But now things have changed with Open Athens, so you use the same or similar details that you would use to access your RU Connected or your ROS account. So this is the screen that you'd land on if you had clicked on students. And this is a screen that you would most probably land on had you clicked on the staff option. So again, to authenticate when trying to access our databases, please make use of your RU email address and password, or the same details that you use in order to access your RU Connected or ROS account. And I'd like to specifically highlight or emphasize that should you encounter any challenges with regards to accessing any of our databases, JSTOR included, please do email your principal librarian for assistance. So for law, humanities, and education, the principal librarian in this case would be myself, Sanda Nyoka, but for commerce and pharmacy, that would be Ms. Tandiwe Menzi. So this is what the platform looks like on JSTOR. This is the outlook. And one of the things to look out for when you're searching on the JSTOR database or platform is right at the top, you want to see it saying that access is provided by Rhodes University. So if that access provided by Rhodes University does not appear, it could be that resources that you should be having access to will appear as though you do not have access to them. So you can try and sign in order to ensure that you are indeed accessing the database through the Rhodes University library. So I've been speaking about the JSTOR database for a minute or so now, and I just want to sort of highlight or give an overview of what it is. So JSTOR is a digital library of journals, books, alongside primary sources as well. It also covers a very wide variety of subjects. It's not attached to a specific discipline, but rather covers a large number of disciplines. So the subjects that are covered on the JSTOR database include area studies. And apart from area studies, it also covers arts, wherein there is resources on performing arts, on music, on art and art history. It also covers the business and economic subjects, where there is business-related content, economics content, finance content, labor and employment relations content. It also covers history, and also a large variety of the humanities with film studies, language and literature, philosophy. It also covers law-related subjects wherein there's criminology and criminal justice, as well as general law-related subjects. Now, it also delves into medicine, science, and mathematics. And with science and mathematics, there's also zoology covered there, geology, environmental science, physics. So there's quite a large or a wide range of subjects that's covered by the JSTOR database. It also covers subjects within the social sciences, with anthropology, archaeology, education, cultural studies, geography, gender studies, and a lot more other subjects. This is just a continuation of the subjects that are covered by or on the JSTOR database. Now, in order to search on the JSTOR database, there is two ways to go about it. It is a database that supports full text keyword searching across the different content that it has available, which ranges from book chapters, books, journal articles, pamphlets, or images. There are two search forms on JSTOR. There is a basic search as well as an advanced search. But both of these we will illustrate as we now head over to our live demonstration. So for the live demonstration, we're now going to cross over to the Rhodes University Library. So in order to be able to access the Rhodes University Library, you can do a simple Google search wherein you search for Rhodes University Library, or you can access the library via the Rhodes University website. But if you search for Rhodes University Library, there's going to be an entry that signals or indicates the library. And this is what the library's interface looks like. And in order to be able to access the JSTOR database, you'd start off with the databases A to Z option over here. That's just one of the ways in which you can access the database. But then the database can also be accessed using the Access My Subject Guide option. So subject guides are curated according to each discipline, and they contain guidance with regards to the specific databases that one can use in line with their specific subject area. So you can either use the databases A to Z list, or you can use the Access My Subject Guide option. But for this afternoon, we're going to go with the databases A to Z list. So once we click on that, we will then see a list of subject guides in alphabetical order. You just need to know the first letter of the database. So in our example, we're looking for JSTOR. So we go to the letter J. And once we get to the letter J, we'll get to see all databases that start with the letter J. So that's one way of doing it. But you also have the option to search for the database here, for the title over there. But I'm just going to click on JSTOR. And it seems that for this afternoon, it has directly led me through into the database without asking me to authenticate. But should you be asked to authenticate, please do remember to make use of your Rhodes University credentials, that is your email address or username, alongside your Rhodes University password. So we're going to start off with a basic search this afternoon. And what I'm going to be searching for is I'm going to be searching for Renaissance architecture. So I'll just type that in. So I'm just going to search for Renaissance architecture as a basic search. And with this basic search, we can already see that we have over 94,000 search results that are being returned, which are over here. And I'm just going to illustrate a number of things as we proceed or continue with this specific search. Now, after having searched for Renaissance architecture, And after having received over 94,000 search results, what we're going to do is we'll go back to Renaissance architecture. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to put inverted commas or quotation marks around Renaissance architecture. And once I put inverted commas or quotation marks around Renaissance architecture, we move from 94,000 search results to 2,400 and something search results. Now, this is still a lot of results that we are getting, but from moving from 94,000 to 2,400 is a lot. So with this, I just wanted to illustrate that playing around with your search actually makes a lot of a difference. So what we've done there is we've put in these quotation marks, and when we put quotation marks or inverted commas, we are doing what we call phrase searching. So a phrase search is when we're saying to the database that we are looking for these words in the exact same order. So that's essentially what we're saying. Again, we still have quite a lot of results, like I mentioned, and it's important then that Renaissance architecture on its own is quite broad. It's important that as you search across the database, you try and narrow down your search in order for your search string to reflect what it is that you are looking for or what your research is focusing on. For an example here, we have Renaissance architecture, and let's say I am particularly interested in Renaissance architecture, but there's also a specific jurisdiction that I want to look at or focus on, and that being Africa. So what I've done now is that I've added "and" in capital letters. So if I use "and" in capital letters or in capital letters, I'm using what we call Boolean operators. So we have different types of Boolean operators. We have "and," we have "or," we also have "not." And when you're using them on the database, it is often advisable that you use them in capital letters. So I've just used the Boolean operator "and" I've put Africa there, and then we'll run our search. So from running our search, we've now moved from, we started off with over 94,000 search results. We then moved to 2,400 and something, and we've now moved to 412 results. So those are some of the ways in which you can limit or narrow down your search. So when you use the Boolean operator "and," you are saying to the database that you are using it to narrow your search wherein you are interested in both these terms. And when you use the Boolean operator "or," you're saying to the database you're broadening your search and you're interested in either one of the search terms. Now, another example that I will make with regards to the phrase searching that we had done is if, for an example, I'll just make an example again. If, for an example, we search for Renaissance architecture without the phrase search, the results that will be returned to us are results that will contain both Renaissance as well as architecture, either together or separately. So you can see Renaissance lingering at the top of the document in a different context, and you can see architecture lingering somewhere between, in between the document in another context. So it's very important that if you want a specific phrase in that exact same order, that you make use of a phrase search. So I'm just going to go again with the previous string that we had used, Renaissance architecture and Africa. Now, another thing that I want to highlight on JSTOR is that you have the option to filter your results. So on the left-hand side, there's the option to refine your results. On refining your results, you have the option to select a specific content type. Are you specifically looking for journal articles on the subject? Are you specifically looking for book chapters on the subject? Or are you looking more towards the primary source content on this specific subject? You also have the option to filter by a specific subject. For an example, if you are looking at or conducting research on Renaissance architecture and you are an architectural student or architectural history, or you're an archaeology or anthropology student, you have the option to select a specific subject that you can filter by on the left under the Refine Your Results option. You also have to filter by the option to filter by the language, and you also have the option to filter by the access type. So with the access type, automatically when you access JSTOR via Rhodes University, it will be filtered to content that you can access. But if you're interested in exploring content that we probably cannot or that we do not subscribe to, you can also select the everything option. So if you are on the everything option, please do pay attention to the fact that some of the results that you get back, it could be resources that we do not have a subscription for on JSTOR. But to be on the safe side, you can go with the one that says content I can access in order to ensure that every result that's brought back is something that your institution has access to. You also have the option, whilst searching, as part of refining your search, to search within the results. So, for an example, if you want to be specific, we had said Renaissance architecture in Africa. And if you want to search within these results to see if there's any that mention or that touch upon Ghana, you can search within the results for Ghana. So we move now from 200 and something results to but just 10 results. So you have a number of options to play around with, especially when working with or on the JSTOR database. So apart from just doing a basic search, you can search within the search results. You can also filter your search results accordingly. Just going to go back. And what I now want to do is I want to illustrate the difference between the basic keyword search that we've done and also a semantic result. So the semantic result is more of an AI component, which I will illustrate just now. So right next to where there's the number of results, here there's 206 results. This is the keyword results. But you also have the option to switch to the semantic results on the JSTOR database. Now, when trying to switch to the semantic results on the JSTOR database, if it's not responding or working, please note that you need to remove whatever filters that you would have applied. So I'll remove the filters. And once all filters have been removed, I can now click on the semantic results option. So previously we were on the keyword results and we had specific filter options. I had filtered by journals. So in order for the semantic results to work, please do remove your filters. So I'll click on semantic results. And what the semantic results then does is that it will give you the top 25 results on the subject that you had searched on. So what happens is that it uses machine learning to return the 25 most relevant results based on the similarity of the concepts that you used in your search string. So you can go through the top 25 results that have been returned to you on the subject. And you also have the option. The nice part about this is that you have the option to also rate whether or not these suggestions are good results or if they're poor results based off of the search that you had conducted. But from most of the results that I've encountered when using the semantic results option, it's usually the top 25 results that are of relevance to the study or the keywords that I would have searched for. Now, another thing that I want to illustrate on JSTOR is that I'm just going to click on this journal title here. What I want to illustrate is that on the JSTOR database, they also have an AI research tool. So if you've not opened a journal article, you might not see the AI research tool, but it usually is on the far right-hand side. And in most instances, you will find this being switched off. So you would have to turn it on if you want to make use of the AI research tool, right? So if it's switched off, you can just, so this is how the journal would look without having switched on the AI research tool. But the moment you click on switching on or you switch on the research tool, then the research tool will open up and then it will just tell you what the document is about. But what I also like is that if the document that you're accessing does not specifically speak to what you're looking for, it will also let you know. You have the option to ask it a question. You also have the option to ask it to show you related content. And apart from asking it to show you related content, you also have the option to ask it for recommended topics, and it will recommend other topics as well. So from any of the topics here, if you want to search for them, what you do is you click on the topic, then it will generate a search on JSTOR, and then you'll get to see search results pertaining to the recommendations that you would have requested or clicked on. So that's just one of the options that you have access to on JSTOR. I'm just going to go back to our initial search results. So this was the semantic results. I'll go back to the keyword results, which was 412 results. And on this, I want to illustrate a number of things. The fact that you have the option to download the article, you have the option to cite an article, to export an article. So on this specific article here, you can either click on the title of the article, or you can click on the download option in order to initiate a download. Once you click on download, the article will open up, and then you will have the downward facing arrow in order to download and read this at a later date. But if we go back, you have the option to save specific articles on JSTOR. But in order to be able to save the articles to your workspace, you need to have signed in. So for an example, from my side, I am logged in. If I was not logged in, I'm just going to quickly log out. If I was not logged in, what would happen is that when trying to save, it would actually ask me to, just going to see if I can repeat the search there. Renaissance architecture. Renaissance architecture and Africa. So I'm not signed in. What would happen is that if I try to save something onto my workspace, once I click on save, it's going to ask you to log in to a free account. So you have the option to continue with your Google account, or you have the option to sign in with a free account. Just going to try continue with Google, and I'll go with my Google account. Right, so once you're signed in, you'd then be able to save articles onto your workspace. Once I click on save, then it will ask you if you want to save it on the general workspace, or if you want to create a folder. You have the option to create folders as well, and then save items onto a specific folder. But what I also want to illustrate is that as you are searching across databases, you also have the option to export citations. It's very important that as you conduct your research, you keep the references that you consulted, because you'll need them as part of writing up your work. So on the JSTOR database, like many other databases, you will have the cite option. So if you click on the cite option, what it will do is it will give you the different variations of citations. For an example, the MLA style, Chicago style, as well as the APA style. But if you are working with a specific reference manager, there is the option to export to different types of reference managers. There's RefWorks, there's EasyBib, there's RIS file, there's a text file. Now, I use Zotero. So if you use Zotero, EndNote, or Mendeley, then you'd export to an RIS file. So what I do is you'd click on the export RIS file, and what it will do is it will download the citation, and you'll just double click on the citation. And once you double click on the citation, it will ask you, do you want to import this file into the collection? Then I'll click on yes. So what that is going to do is when I'm typing out now my work on my Word document, I'll be able to incorporate or bring back this citation. So it's a very useful database to make use of. So what we had done was a basic search, But again, apart from doing a basic search, you also have the option to run an advanced search. So right at the top, I'm going to select advanced search. And with the advanced search, you have the option to key in a specific term. You have the option to select the specific field that you would like to search in. So for this afternoon, I'm going to search for the term free will, but I don't want this on all fields. I specifically want it on the item title. And then it also has a built-in Boolean operator option. It has Boolean operator and Boolean operator, or it has also Boolean operator not. And then it also has some proximity filters as well to say that I want it to be in the next 5 words, in the next 10, in the next 25. You don't want it far off. It has those options as well. So I'll go in with my Boolean operator and my second term is going to be religion. Now with the religion, you have the option to again filter by a specific field. But I would like to mention that sometimes when you filter by the abstract field, you'll find that your search results are too narrow. So you'll sometimes want to remove the abstract option and still go with the all fields option. As you scroll down, you'll see that there'll be an option that says select an access type, which allows you to search across content that you can access, but it also gives you the option to search across everything that is available on the JSTOR database. Also, it gives you the option, sorry, I think I clicked on something there. Just going to go back to it. It also gives you the option. So what we had done, we'd searched for free will from the item title. Then we'd searched for religion and we went to the all fields. We kept it at the all fields title. And then I mentioned that you have an access type that you can select, which is content that you can access or everything. You also have the option to narrow down your search results. If you just want articles, we can do that. If you want them in English, if you want specific dates, but as you scroll down, there's also specific subject areas that you can search within. So it's a very useful option or filter options that you can make use of if you want to narrow down your studies as you continue to search on this specific database. So you have those options available to you. I'm just going to submit the advanced search. And as you submit, what it will do is it will generate a search string at the top there. So you do have the option to also modify your search if you would like to. And as you scroll down again, you'll get to see resources that you have access to. You'll have the option to download the specific resource. You'll have the option to save or to cite that particular resource. And again, just a reminder, in order to be able to interact with the artificial intelligence tool on the platform, you need to have opened up the article in order for the AI research assistant option or AI research tool to appear on the right. If an article is not opened, it's not going to appear. So you need to open the specific article that you are interested in or would like to have a look at. So those are some of the things that you can do on JSTOR, running a basic search as well as running an advanced search. But apart from just running a basic search as well as an advanced search and making use of the AI research tool, you also have the option, I'm just going to go back to the search results, you also have the option to browse. If it is that you are just needing to browse, or if it is that you are interested in a specific subject area, you have the option to browse. So on the JSTOR database, right at the top next to the search bar, there's that option to browse. It will allow you options to browse by the subject, which is journals and books, to browse by the title, by the publishers, by the collections, as well as by the images. So I'm just going to click on the subject option. So what the subject option then does is that in our PowerPoint presentation, I'd mentioned the different subject areas that are covered by JSTOR. So on the JSTOR database, you have the option to browse by the different subjects that are there. For an example, if you are focusing on language and literature, you have the option to browse specifically resources or content that speaks to languages and literature on the JSTOR database. And as you browse on that subject, I'm just waiting for it to load. It's taking a bit of time. Right. So as you browse on a specific subject, you'll see that it will have the journals on this side, and there's quite a number of journal titles available for language and literature. And what it also does is that it will give you the published dates, where you'll see that some are more retrospective and the others are a bit more current in terms of the years. So you have that option. If you want to browse by a specific subject, you have the option to browse in that way. So this was journals, but you can also cross over to books in order to see specific books that are available on this specific subject as well. So there is a number of options that are available to you on the JSTOR database. Now I'm just going to go back to my search. And on the initial search, I just want to also illustrate that if you are doing a basic search, when doing a basic search, you also have the option to, for an example, if I type in Ubuntu, you have the option next to where it says all content, you have the option to click on the drop-down arrow to go with all content or to go with an images search. So if you go with an images search, if there's any images available, the images will show up and you can have a look at those specific images. If there aren't any images, it will also let you know that there aren't any images with regards to the specific primary source content that you're trying to access. Again, you have the option, once you are signed in though, you have the option to access your workspace and to see resources that are available or that have been exported onto your workspace. So the workspace will require that you create an account or that you be logged in with a personal account and not just the access provided by your institution. So on the workspace, you'll get to see your saved items there, and I've created one for demo, but there is others that I have available within the workspace. And with these items on the workspace, the nice part is that you're able to add a specific note if you want to add a note onto the specific resource. So that's the nice part about creating a personal workspace or signing in onto the JSTOR database. So with the note, you can create a note, you can edit the note, you can still cite and download, and you also have the option to present or to delete the specific item from within your workspace. So those are some of the resources or the privileges that you have when you sign in with a personal account, other than the institutional login. For an example, you also have the option to view recently viewed items. So if you want to go through your search history and see what it is that you had searched for, and to see if you'd still be able to access some of those resources there, you have that option to view or to go through your search history. But that is only possible if you are, as I mentioned, signed in using a specific account. So in a nutshell, that is how the JSTOR database works, and it has a number of resources that you can also explore. We had just looked at the top where we browsed by subject, but like I mentioned, you can also browse by different collections, which you have access to. If there's a specific collection that you want to search for, you can search for that specific collection and it will appear. But if there isn't a specific collection that you want to search for, you can just browse through the available collections. For an example, here I searched for World War I, and anything that forms part of that collection will appear here as part of the results that get shown. So it's a very useful database to have a look at, and to consult for your research. And I'd strongly recommend that you try and do a simple or a basic search, as well as an advanced search as well. It is a user-friendly database, in that it will, even at times when you don't use certain keywords or Boolean operators like we did where we used and, you can type in a free search or search string where you just type in your keywords and then it will bring back search results for whatever it is that you searched for. But we strongly recommend, here I just typed Ubuntu in African context, and there's a number of search results that are being returned on Ubuntu and relates it to the African context. So you can also do a free word or a natural language search when typing on the JSTOR database, or you can make use of Boolean operators as we did. And again, you have the option to filter your search results. And that is going to be it with regards to the JSTOR database. If you are not signed in, please do try and log in, especially if there isn't that option that says access provided by Rhodes University. If it's not giving you that option, then you will not be able to access or to download any of the resources that appear on the actual database. So if it is that it does not give you that option, please do try and locate your specific institution. I just want to quickly see if I can quickly try and access the JSTOR database. Okay, I still see that it's still saying access provided by Rhodes University. But in the instance or in the event that you don't see this option, just try and log in. There usually is a login option. Just try and log in with your actual institution, or contact your principal librarian for assistance with accessing the specific database. And before we close, I think my colleague Tobile has entered something in the chat. If you have a moment, please do take the time to fill it out. And thank you very much for attending the session. A reminder that our postgraduate training program is ongoing and that you're encouraged to sign up for more of these sessions where we are looking at the different databases that the university or the library subscribes to, which will be very much useful for the type of research that you will be conducting or focusing. Thank you very much, Tobile. Is there something else on the chat or that they need to do? All right. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. Please do enjoy the rest of your day. We hope to see you in our next session, which is going to be tomorrow, and we're going to be looking specifically at the EBSCOhost database. Enjoy the rest of your day further. Thank you.